What's up, y'all? My name is Fitz, host of the Let's Argue podcast. Thank you for joining me on this Friday morning. Just read an article last night that kind of stood out to me, wanted to get on and speak about it a little bit. So, The Rock, right? The people's champion, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He is now under fire for doing an interview on Fox where he says he made a mistake by endorsing Joe Biden in the last election. Right? He as a black voter, which, you know, that seems to be one of the issues, right? A big issue within the black community is having access to voting rights, things like that. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, exercised his voting rights that black people fought and died for, and voted in the past for a candidate, Joe Biden. He now believes that that vote, that decision, was a mistake. And what does he get for voicing his independent thinking? He gets called a sellout. He's tap dancing for white people, according to the article I read. He's a traitor to black people, right? And I want to talk about this because it's interesting to me that because The Rock says he won't support Joe Biden, he made a mistake by supporting Joe Biden in the past, that now all of a sudden he's a sellout. Now all of a sudden he's tap dancing for white people. I think this speaks to a larger issue that I've touched on in many of my videos, which is that black people are not allowed to have a different opinion in America without being considered a traitor, not black, right? And this is a very dangerous political position to take. Now, contrary to popular belief, I do not believe that politics has no place in black life. What I simply say is that politics are not going to improve our lives at this moment substantially more than you taking action in your own life as an individual and maximizing your potential. That is what I argue. So the marches, the protests, those are cute. They look good for videos, and you're not even getting monetized for those videos. The media companies that go out there and watch people act a fool are the ones getting monetized. You just go home back to your same job, back to your same life with no tangible benefits. So when I read this article and I see that once again a black man is publicly allowed to be called a sellout, is publicly allowed to be said that they're tap dancing, which is pretty much a derogatory way of saying that they're no longer black, they're not a part of the community, they're ousted, right? When I see that, it makes me wonder, why is the media so invested in denigrating and diminishing the black man's image whenever it comes to them sharing a perspective that doesn't align with mainstream thought? Mainstream thought being, if I get on an interview and say that I voted for Joe Biden for any reason, I'm celebrated. Oh my God, you're a hero. You voted for a Democrat. You voted for Joe Biden. It doesn't matter what he has or has not done for our community. It doesn't matter what the Democrats have or have not done for our community. You voted Democrat. Here's your sticker. You're a hero. That's the message that black people get. But what is the message that black people get when they choose, one, not to vote for Democrats or Joe Biden? Because here's the thing. Here's the key point that I want to make. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he did not say, hey, I'm not voting for Joe Biden, I'm going to go vote for Trump. He said he would not be endorsing Biden. He never mentioned that he was going to go vote for Trump. He never even mentioned whether he was going to vote or not, I believe. And if he did, he definitely didn't say he was going to go vote for Trump. But the fact that as a black man, as a black person, you didn't say you were voting for a Democrat, you didn't praise Joe Biden at his feet, you're no longer black. you're no longer a part of the community. You don't deserve to be black. You're a traitor. The Rock, that's what they want you to believe. Rocky, right? They want you to believe you are now a traitor because you did not vote for who they wanted you to vote for. And this media is the same media that in a couple months will be pushing the fact that black people need to vote for Democrats because they're trying to take away your voting rights. They're trying to take away your access to voting. They're trying to put you back in chains, right? That's what they'll say. But then at the same time, if you don't vote for them, they'll call you out your name. They'll allow their media stations to prop up and push propaganda and messaging that is racist at its core, which is essentially saying black people need to think the same, and if you don't think the same, you're not actually black. That is the underlying message when you don't align with the traditional Democrat thinking, Democrat talking points, Democrat ideology, Democrat way of doing things. And I'll say more so the new Democrat way of doing things, which is more so just find someone to blame for your problems, don't take accountability, and anytime you mention a solution, you're co-opted. You're playing for the other team. You're somebody that isn't really one of us, isn't around black people enough, right? These are the things that you get told when you don't align with the Democrat Party. And not even when you say that you align with the Republican Party, because I don't. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. But whenever you say something, like for instance, I can mention a stat, right? And by the way, for those of you who don't know, this channel right here, the channel that you're watching, I focus on black culture and I focus on the black community. So when I talk about black people and when I talk about things happening in the black community, that's because that's what the channel is centered around. Would you turn to the Food Network and there's TV shows where they're talking about making pasta and be like, well, why aren't you showing 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying movie? That's not what the channel is focused on. This is a food channel. So of course we gonna talk about food. Same thing with my channel. My channel is centered around black culture. My channel is centered around the black community and how the black community can take accountability and not have to depend on the government and other groups of people. So when I put out a stat showing that around 72% of black women have children unmarried, that is because I focus on the black community and our issues and our problems, because that's where I spend most of my time. But that's considered being a sellout. That's considered coontivity, based on what I'm told in the comment section by the greatest activist and revolutionary that the world has ever seen, right? So in my comment section, there's people out there that, believe it or not, they're the next Malcolm X. They're the next MLK Jr. They're doing so much work for the community. And I'm just making videos, right? These people don't know me. These people don't know my life. They don't know anything. They see me on a video and they get excited. Why? Because in their own personal lives, they're not able to affect the change that they want to make. So they have to go to the internet to do it. They have to go to the internet to do it. They're not getting paid. No. They wake up, they take their do-rag off that they haven't washed in a couple weeks. They look in the mirror, that maybe their hairline's receded, maybe it's not, I don't know. And they get excited because they see something online that they know they disagree with. They see something online that they know is not productive, is counterproductive. And what do? They start typing. Typing. And it makes them feel good. It makes them feel good that they got their argument out. It makes them feel good that they were able to voice their opinion. In the same way that when The Rock, who's put in so much work to be able to even have a voice and have influence, he gives a basic kind of like non-controversial opinion. I said, hey, don't clown the waves. Hey. When The Rock gives a basic opinion like, hey, look, I'm not really trying to be controversial. I just regret this. I regret endorsing Biden. Let's flip the script. If that was the same Rock, right? If that was The Rock, and let's say he voted for Trump in the past, and he came on CNN and he says, guys, I was wrong. Look, I was wrong. I regret voting for Trump. That would be headline news. That would be, oh, look, there's another example of why Trump is racist. There'd be all these things, right? And this is the fundamental issue that I want to point out. My message is not necessarily don't go vote for Democrat. It's not go vote for Republican. It's not really telling you who to vote for. It's to get you to think and understand, why is there so much energy and incentive for black people to only think one way when it comes to politics? And I know a lot of people say, well, we don't only think one way. Well, when you only go to one party to voice your political concerns, what do you think that manifests as? What do you think that manifests as? Right? Like, let's say that you work at a job, right? What do you think is the better option for you when it comes to protecting your job security or protecting your position? If only one person at that organization had say so or could affect change on your job security, or if you had an HR department, if you had managers, if you had other people who had a voice that you could express to, and then you could go and let them know what's going on and they could affect change as well. It's like, I don't understand why black people get so upset with me when I say maybe we should consider other options. Maybe we should consider other options. Because we've been driving this car for 50 years and not much has gotten done. Let's go to the car dealership and see what else is available. Because we've been going to this car dealership and driving this car, and we seeing people drive off the lot. We seeing people who ain't been here as long as us. We seeing other groups who haven't put in as much work. They get in better cars. So why are we still going to this car dealership? Let's see what the other ones have to offer. When I say that, people lose their mind. They lose their mind. And reading that article about The Rock, now he's a sellout, now he's tap dancing for white people, it really concerns me, because this is an election year, because I already know the stops that they're gonna pull out. There's gonna be more broadcasting of police shootings. There's gonna be more broadcasting of the racism that they say is holding black people back. And it's not to help you. It's not so that you can go, okay, now how can I equip myself and prepare myself to go out there and battle the world and make myself a more competitive individual and compete in this marketplace. That's not what it's for. It's not to say it's not so that you can put more money in your pocket. It's not so that you can gain better skills. It's not that so you can live a better life. It's to make you fear in existence as a black person so that you go vote for them. When you understand that that's the message and that's the intent for the message, then maybe you don't take it as at face value, I'll say. When you know the intention of the person giving you the message, then you can kind of piece together how they're crafting the story, right? Like, I read an article the other day talking about abortion in Arizona. The headline read, mothers are now going to be charged with a felony for getting an abortion, right? Because of some Supreme Court ruling. So, okay, I don't agree with that. Shouldn't get a felony for doing that. Interesting. Let me see what's going on here. So then you read the article, and at the very end, what does it say? The attorney general or whatever, the attorney general, the district attorney or whatever, has already spoken out and said this will not be enforced. So the headline makes it seem like if you get an abortion, you're going to prison, you're getting a felony. But then the body of it says this is something that, yes, it is the law, but we're not going to enforce it. But most people are just going to read the headline, and they're going to think that now all of a sudden you're going to get a felony in Arizona for having an abortion. This is the same thing that they do with black people. They put out the headline and all the facts and all the things. I'm sad to say that when you read the articles, it's right there. It's not even hidden. They tell you what's actually going on in the body. But most people don't read the body. They read the headline. And so when people see the article about The Rock, they read the headline, The Rock is a traitor to black people. He threw black people under the bus. And they don't read what he actually said. They don't watch what he actually said. And this is an issue, because this is how many people gain their political knowledge. This is how many people get their information. Let me see. This is how many people get their information, is by reading the headlines and not looking into what actually happened. So C. Hustle said, still kicking politics that you don't know about. So interesting. C. is the one who I accused of apparently having a receding hairline. I don't know. I've never seen him on camera, I don't think. But C. still kicking politics I don't know about, but doesn't say in his comment what I'm wrong about. And this is an example of an emotional Negro, right? Emotional Negroes, they just tell you you don't know what you're talking about, but they can't articulate an argument that's better than yours. They can't present any information. They can't even tell you why you're wrong. They just tell you that you are wrong. I'm fixing my engine on my car. You're doing that wrong. How do I do it right? You're doing that wrong. Okay, I'm just gonna go fix it because you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. How? Cricket, cricket. We don't hear anything. We don't hear anything. He said, I'm bald, but yet again you love to lie. This is another emotional argument. I've never seen this man. So when I say he probably has a receding hairline, it's obvious me just talking crap, but I'm lying now. I'm lying. These people don't know you. I don't know you, but I'm lying. All right. Anyways, back to what I was saying before Mr. Businessman, who's big baller, living a better life than me, based off of a video he saw, interrupted. So, when The Rock goes on Fox News, I know that there's a perception, oh, he's co-opted. He's on the other side. My question is, what does the other side mean? Right? What is the other side? Because when I hear that, it's Democrat, Republican, and if you're on the other side, that means that you're no longer over here. But what are we getting over here? And what are we getting over here? Let's really look at it. Let's really, instead of wondering, instead of just putting people down, why don't we ask The Rock, hey, you came out, you said you endorsed Biden before. Why did that change? What changed? Instead of trying to understand that, we'll just do what? Oh, you're a sellout. You're tap dancing. You're tap dancing. He says that he has a better house, better car. Again, I'm guessing he's seen my house. I don't know. Tell us what the law says, Fitz. What law? What law are you referring to, C. What law? He just says something random. Tell us what the law says. What I've talked about so much in this broadcast. What law? What law are you referring to, C. Why aren't you at work, Fitz? Well, it's 8 o'clock and I don't start work until 9. Like you said, I can chew gum and walk at the same time. The question is, why aren't you at work? What are you doing? Oh, the abortion law, genius. Oh, okay, yeah. If you go read the article, it says that the law can be enforced. That is the law, that you can get a felony for having an abortion or aiding an abortion in Arizona. However, the Attorney General has said they are not going to enforce it. You're working, he says he's working, but he's commenting on the video. He's taking time out of his day to comment on a video from a black man he doesn't respect. And this again, this points to my point that I make in many of my videos, is that many black people are unproductive. See, when I get on live and I do these videos, I'm gonna give y'all some game, right? I'm gonna give you some game. When I get online and I do these videos, it's to build an audience. It's to build an audience. Well, I can't show it right now because I'm on live and I can't just pull it up. I'm just sitting out here chilling, but you show it. Because it doesn't matter what I show, because you're gonna say that I'm reading it wrong and you're gonna say this and say that. And pretty soon, to be honest with you, C-Dot, I'm gonna have to block you, because at this point, all you're doing is trolling. All you're doing is trolling. You can't beat me in an actual argument. You've been on live with me for multiple hours. I've given you the opportunity to at least look half intelligent. You can't do it. You don't even show up on camera. All you do is throw hissy fits and start trying to cuss and get aggressive and yell. And honestly, that's not what I got into the channel for. I'm in the channel. I started the channel to have intelligent debates, not go back and forth with other black men about whose car is better, whose house is better. That's you reverting back to consumerism and what you would label as white supremacy, trying to compare your life to mine. No, it's not blocking the opposing opinion. It's that you're trying to attack me personally as a man, and you keep on trying to make insults to me, and it's not very productive. It's not very productive. And it's obvious, C-Dot, that you do have an inferiority to white people. That's obvious to me. Because instead of you going and spending time supporting people that actually agree with your messaging, you're spending time, it's not even 9, 10, it's not even 10 a.m. probably where you're at. And you were up hours ago commenting on my video. Which you disagree with so much. You don't respect me as a man. And when I do the live later, you're probably gonna try to jump on. And then I'm gonna have to embarrass you again like I always do, because you don't come with facts. All you do is speak emotionally. All you do is pretend that you know what you're talking about, but never actually present an argument. You ask questions. You ask questions and then you sit around and never present an actual argument. Well, what about this? What about that? You're stupid because you don't know how to read a chart. But then it turns out I read the chart correctly. I just didn't say what you wanted me to say. So essentially what's happening is there is a black man in the comment section who feels the need, even though he does not agree with me, even though he has nothing productive to add to the conversation, even though he said in other videos that I'm acting like a coon, which is a derogatory term used against black people. He feels the need to continue to try to troll me in videos because he can't intellectually debate me whenever we jump on a live together. He continues to do that. If you watch our previous videos, his name is C-Dot. He gets emotional. He doesn't present any cohesive arguments. And all he does is blame white people for black people's problems. And so I'm trying to talk about a situation that happened with The Rock, and how The Rock is now being called a sellout, much like I get called a sellout by this guy right here, C-Dot. The Rock is being called a sellout because he did an interview where he said he's not going to endorse, he regrets endorsing Joe Biden. So And even in prior videos, the C dot dude has made comments like, "Oh, I love doing something with conservatives," or "I love making conservatives look stupid," or something along those lines. Uh, so it's obvious that he has a bias against people he considers conservative. There's something emotional attached there, and that's why I created the channel, is because I saw, not that I'm a conservative or anything, but I saw that there's such a heavy leaning when it comes to Democrats, that emotions are what's at play here. It's not us voting for our best interest. It's not us doing things in our best interest. It's a highly emotional way of dealing with our problems. And there he goes again. By the way, when he says coontivity, if you read the comment section, when he says coontivity, he's calling me the COON, right? And I have to watch what I say on YouTube because they'll take the video down if I keep repeating it, because it is a derogatory term. He says that because he can't form an actual argument. So he tries to get me emotionally riled up by calling me a derogatory term, but it doesn't work because I'm smarter than him, right? I understand what's going on. See, he's working his job. He's working at his job, and he's taking time out of his life to comment and go back and forth with another black man that he doesn't respect. And this is what I argue many black people are doing, just in a different way. They're taking time out of their lives to do things that are not productive to what their goals actually are, but then they turn around and blame white people. He says owners can do, he's the owner of his business, so he can do that. Owners can do that. But how much better would your business be if you weren't doing that? Probably better. And if this is how you conduct yourself online, if this is your emotional maturity online, how are you with your clients? How are you in real life? Right? So all that owner talk, anyone can start an LLC and say that they're an owner, doesn't really mean much to me. But yeah, back to the topic. The main message that I want to get across in this video is that as a black person, you have options. You don't have to limit your thinking to one line of thinking. One line of thinking is how we ended up where we're at right now, in large part over the last 50, 60 years. Because the Democrat Party has convinced most of us that if you don't think one way, you're not actually black. Joe Biden said it last time he was on the campaign trail. If you don't vote for me, you're black. Or if you have a problem deciding who to vote for between me and Trump, you're not black. They really believe that. They really believe that. And what I'm here to tell you is, whether you vote Democrat, whether you vote Republican, whether you don't vote at all, voting does not determine your blackness. Voting does not determine your blackness. He says, your viewership is low because you're disingenuous and you flat out lie. Yeah, my viewership is low because I have less than 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, you start somewhere. I really only started doing this channel seriously within the last 4 or 5 months. But again, people need to put stuff out there because it makes themselves feel better. Here's a black man that supports the black community. He's an activist, right? According to his comment, he's an activist. He's for the black community. But he sees a black man online that's trying to build a YouTube channel, trying to do for self. And what does he do? He comes in and tries to put that black man down. He comes in and tries to diminish that black man's confidence, right? And this is why it's important for you to understand that many of these activists, they're not doing it for the community. They're doing it for themselves. Because I don't see how any activist wouldn't try to lead me somewhere instead of put me down, right? That's an activist. See, I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a YouTuber, according to this man. I'm not really putting in work. I'm just a YouTuber. He's the activist. So he should know better. Just like I hear people with these arguments talking about the cops. Well, when they go shoot people, that's different than a civilian shooting them because the cops are trained. Well, if you're an activist and you're putting work in the community and you're working with other black people, etc., then you should know how to lead people to a better way of thinking, not insult them to a better way of thinking and call them derogatory terms. But maybe that's where activism is at right now. Maybe that's where activism is at right now. I'm so threatened by this man. He says I'm threatened by him, but I've invited him up multiple times onto my channel to speak. I've had 2, 3, 4 hour long debates with this man live, but I'm threatened by him. I'm threatened by him, but I pressed the button to allow him up on my channel so that we can debate. It's it's funny, and it's really concerning. It makes me believe that the state of where black men are at is worse than I thought. It makes me believe that, because when I look at the emotionality of black men, just on the videos that I post, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing, because when you go to personal attacks about, well, I have a better car than you, I have a better house. What if you do? Now what? I'm actually, I do show sources. If you look in the video that I posted yesterday, there's an actual hyperlink or whatever URL that you can copy and paste and go. But again, this man will say there are no can't read the little you do show. You can't copy and paste the hyperlink. But here's my issue, is that even if you Google it, you can see the information. You can see the information. But I made this video right now because I knew this man would be up waiting. I knew this man, his business, right? Because he doesn't like me. He thinks I'm a coon, I'm a sellout. But yesterday he spent hours replying and commenting in my videos. And I'm going to be doing a live later today. But I said, you know what? Let me jump on and instigate this man, because I know he'll be watching. I know he'll get on, because that's who he is. He's not concerned with his clients. He's not concerned with making money. He's not concerned with bettering his community. He's concerned with Fitz. He's concerned with Fitz. That's why I wore the Atlanta Falcons hat, because he lives in Atlanta. I wanted to troll him. He's concerned with me, right? So I made this video because I thought it was funny. I wanted him to get on. I wanted him to get on because it's entertaining to me. This man is probably one of the most emotional men that I've ever spoke to. That's the sensitivity you battle with, fam. Again, I'm sensitive, but I've invited this man up multiple times to speak. His name is C.Hustle. If you go back to our previous videos, or my previous videos that he came up on, his name is C.Hustle. He's the man who doesn't show his face, and he's the man that gets emotional and starts huffing and puffing. Go check out those prior videos, some of those lives. He's on there. C.Hustle. If you're watching later on today when we do the live around 12 p.m., he'll be the one in the comment section that is trying to troll me again, and he'll be the one trying to come up. Still not sure if I want to have him come up, because here's the thing, right? Here's where I have boundaries. If you don't respect me, if you don't respect me enough to have a civilized conversation, and you're calling me a derogatory term in my comment section, should I even have a conversation with you at that point when I know you have bad intentions? I know you want to come up on my show and try to act a fool and because you have bad intentions for me, right? It's personal with you. It's personal with you. More victimhood. And see, he says I'm acting like a victim He said, hey, Atlanta is getting brought up. I'll be down there next week for a meeting for phase 1. They're about to turn Atlanta into DC, and I'm here for it. Hey, I'm all for Atlanta. I have nothing against Atlanta. I've heard great things about Atlanta. I honestly, I have nothing against CDOT. I just don't believe that he's as informed as he makes himself out to be. And he starts with these little personal attacks that he doesn't come out and say it. He'll just put something in the comments saying that I'm lying or I'm disingenuous. Whenever he doesn't agree with me, he'll call me a coon, which is cool because that's what business owners who are very successful and have big houses do. They take time out of their Friday to get online and call people coons. But yeah, that's definitely Jeff Bezos behavior. But yeah, the message that I want to end with, because contrary to popular belief, I do make money, I do other things, I do videos on the side. If you are thinking about voting this election season, I think now more than ever is the time for you to really dig in and do your research. Don't just listen to mainstream media. Don't just read the headlines. What I suggest is there's something called Google Alerts, right? There's a way on Google where you can type in a certain phrase or you can type in certain keywords, and then you can get information directly emailed to you whenever things pop up around that topic, right? Whenever there are keywords. And what that does for you is it allows you to stay focused on the things that you're actually interested in, and it allows you to stay informed so that you can make an informed decision. I don't believe in necessarily telling people who to vote for. And honestly, and I've said this in previous videos, I don't believe that voting is at the top of the priority list for Black people in terms of changing your life. I think that it comes down to you improving your skill set, you getting clear on what you want in your life, and then you creating a plan and moving forward on that plan and executing with absolute certainty and executing with consistency. He says, vote Trump, guys. Vote Trump, guys. If you want to vote for Trump, have that as an option. If you want to vote for Biden, have that as an option. Now, and to be clear, what I've said on voting is that voting is not a priority. I said there's nothing like your life isn't going to change because you go vote. Your life is going to change because you get clear on what you want and take consistent action. That's my messaging on voting, right? That is my messaging on voting. So for those of you who actually want to listen, my messaging today is vote for who you want to vote for. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. But overall, voting is not going to change your life. Voting is not going to change your life. What's going to change your life is you taking action, getting clear on what you want, and being consistent. When you go to because, and I say that to clarify why I say that, because if you watch the media, they will lead you to believe that if you do not vote, or that if Joe Biden gets in office or Trump gets in office, your life will be greatly impacted. And that if Trump gets in office, you're going to be back in chains. This is going to be the 1950s for Black people. And if Biden gets in office, this is going to be woke this and woke that. It really doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter in terms of if you're the type of person that goes out there and goes after what you want, then you're going to do that whether Trump is in office, Biden is in office. And my channel is centered around people who want to improve their lives and take accountability for their lives, in particular, Black people. Going to the polls and voting, yeah, that's one way, but that's a different change that you're making. It's not going to impact and directly do anything for your personal life, at least on the national level. So that's my messaging. Yeah, getting involved right now in politics for Black people is not a priority. It's not going to do much for Black people. We've been involved in politics for how many decades now, and what have we actually gotten done substantially over the last 5-6 decades? We're still going and asking white people to do things for us that we can do for ourselves. We don't have any institutions really. We barely have any black owned banks. We barely have any black owned hospitals. We barely have black owned schools. Like, those are the things we should be focusing on. And all of those things we can do without going and voting and without the politics and things like that. It says, vote Trump, say you took part. Not a damn thing. Well, listen, I gotta go make some money, so I'll see y'all at the live stream, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope y'all have a good, productive day. I'm gonna head out. Peace. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe.